Hey all you super players out there, Ben Lodes aka 5 Buck Lunch, coming at you with a new video on some ways to stop and or help against Vegeks. I know a lot of people have been having issues with the deck. It's very strong, very quick, very consistent, and so I kind of want to make a video to kind of go over some of the solutions that I've found to either at least slow it down at the very least. First off, I'm going to go over leaders. Obviously you might not want to change your leader, but it's just something to consider. Hatchak has a pretty good matchup against Vegeks due to the fact that they can basically only attack one battle card per turn. Now, it doesn't completely shut it down due to the fact that they have Vegeks has its Unison and its leader that can attack, but it does significantly slow it. We also have Topo Candidate of Destruction, which is a leader where as long as you have a Unison card in play, your opponent and you for that matter can only play one battle card a turn. And Vegeks doesn't play a lot of battle cards on your turn, so you can kind of play two for their every one and just in general slow them down. Also, the Unison you play, the Vegeta, has the ability, a -1 ability that says your opponent can't attack with battle cards higher than their energy, which stops kind of the quasi-ramp shenanigans that Vegeks has where he puts in play big battle cards early. Next up, I just want to talk about the 2-cost counterplays. So there's one of these in each color. Some of them are better than others, but they're all pretty useful against Vegeks since if you can stop the first battle card that comes into play, you can stop the entire chain. So it's just something that can kind of help slow them down. A lot of times against Vegeks in the first couple turns, rather than developing your own strategy, you're stopping them from rushing you down. And this can help you a lot with that. Depending on which color you're in, you would play that color counterplay. One other thing I want to talk about quick before we get into the specific color solutions is that I tried to make my solutions cheaper so that everyone could kind of play them. Obviously, cards like 5-drop Vegeta, where it comes into play and does 20 to all of your opponent's board, is going to be very good, but not everyone can afford that solution, considering I think it's like 50 bucks. So I kind of tried to keep the solutions a little cheaper so that everyone can kind of slot them into their extra deck really easy. That being said, the first off and most obviously red card is Topo. I know it's a little more, but it is about to get reprinted, so it will be cheaper soon. And pretty obvious, it's a 2-cost negate that punishes your opponent for attacking more, which is everything Vegeks wants to do, so it's very good against it. The next one I have is Unending Awakening. Now this is a little bit of a limited one since it's limited to Red Saiyan leaders, but there are a lot of Red Saiyan leaders out there, and if you're playing something like Pan, it can be very useful. It's simply a 1-cost negate that gives you a Senzu Bean for the turn, so it makes it more difficult for your opponent to go wide against you, which is the easiest way to counter Vegeks. Next off, we have Android 17 Rebel Reinforcements. This is a 2-cost negate, but you get a lot for this 2-cost negate. You get a 15k attacker, and you can play any battle card in 1-drop red battle card from your drop area for free, well, without its effects negated, which is really nice. So things like 1-drop Frieza that draws a card, or any of your like searching mechanic cards that are most of your 1-drops in your deck. So you get to negate attack a free 10k combo power because you can combo him and the card you bring in at the very least. Plus, if you are trying to get rid of their Unison, it gives you 2 attacks on their Unison, which is very useful as well. Obvious card for blue, Senzu Bean. Obvious, but it needs stating that any go wide deck is going to be very bad against Senzu Bean in general. And I think this card, for a while, had kind of fallen out of the meta a little bit because we were playing a lot of late game decks and a lot of decks that like focus on one big attacker, which makes Senzu Bean a lot worse. But since we're getting into more go wide strategies again, Senzu Bean is going to be good and should probably be in your blue deck or on the side at the very least. Here's a card I found, Betrayal of the Master. It's a 1-cost blue card. Active main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy greater than or equal to their opponent's energy and return it to its owner's hand. Now, why this is good against Vegeks specifically is all the Universe 3 cards, when they leave the battlefield, go to the bottom of the deck. So this is just a 1-cost removal piece for all the Universe 3 cards. And this is definitely more of a side deck card, not something you necessarily main. Disposonic Subversion is a card on the new set. It's a 2-cost auto. Return this card to its owner's hand, then choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. When your opponent plays a battle card with energy cost greater than their current energy, choose that card and return it to its owner's hand. Also auto, when this card is removed from battle area by opponent's skill, RKO, draw 1 card. So this is going to be very good, especially against the bigger 4-cost and 5-cost, either Universe 4 cards or the card that puts Analaza in play, the Hatchak card that puts Analaza in play, the 5-drop. So as long as you have this out, they can't really do much against that, and you can use it to swing if you need to. Plus, if they do find a way to remove it, you get to draw a card. So it's just got a lot of really useful utility. This is a card I would probably grab now because it's not super expensive, but it is a draft box 5 card, so it has a potential to go up in the future. But yeah, this is something that would probably help, especially in like the mono blue decks against Vegeks specifically, to help slow them down. Now on to green, we have Heart Arrow of Love, which is a rare out of the draft box 5. It's a 1-cost extra card that has active battle. Choose one of your green leader cards or battle cards. It gets plus 10k power for the turn, so you can use it as a combo piece. And then, if it's your turn, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost of 3 or less, and KO them. Since a lot of the value from Vegeks comes from bringing those cards back out of your drop and putting them on board and having them to swing with, or using the Kai to get extra 10k combos, this card can be very useful. You can attack, plus 10k power, and then remove 2 of their Kais, or a Universe 3 3-drop and a Kai, or there's just lots of ways this could become very useful. This is another card that would probably go on your side, though, because it's not useful against every deck. Kakunsa Beastly Maiden. This is a pretty obvious card out of Universe 3. It's just a 2-cost negate that puts a 20k body on board and kills any battle card. Cutting off their chains on their turn is very powerful and slows them down a lot, so this card is very useful. It is a little bit more in price, which means if you're a budget player, you could play Enraged Gohan Awakening again. Instead, this card is subpar in every way compared to Beastly Maiden, but it does a similar thing. It's a 2-cost counterattack, where you place 1 card in your hand in the drop to choose one of your opponent's attacking battle cards and KO it. So it costs a card, it doesn't put a 20k body on board, but it does interrupt the chain on their turn, which is very useful. Kakunsa should probably be mained in your green decks, whereas if you can't afford that card, Enraged Gohan Awakening can be sided. Also, it's kind of hard to see. There we go. We can make it a little bigger. Dormant Potential Unleashed. So this is a set 10 card, so it's not out yet technically, but it is a card I wanted to talk about because it is probably green's best solution to Vegeks. It has counterattack. If your leader card is mono green, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to a total energy cost of 2 and KO them, so you can get rid of Kais for free. Additionally, you may choose 1 green card and discard it. If you do, your opponent can only attack once more that turn. Also, if you have a green Unison card, you can activate this card's counter skill without paying its energy cost. So, aside from the fact that if you're playing Unisons, obviously it gets better, it is a quasi Nimbus for green, which Nimbus obviously is amazing against Vegeks. So this card is going to help green decks a lot against Vegeks, whereas they don't have a real good solution right now. So I just wanted to bring that up, that is coming in set 10. And, oh, here we go. Bam. Yellow, Flying Nimbus, obviously. I've been talking about it in comparison with other cards. This is hands down the best solution to any go-wide deck in the game. It's a 1-cost negate that you can place a yellow card in your drop. If you do, they can only attack 1 more time with battle cards for the duration of the turn. Next up, I have Giant Ball. This is a card out of the Draft Box 5, but not a super expensive one. I want to say it's around $8. It's simply a 1-cost counterplay that when the battle card is played, you may choose it, switch dress mode, and draw a card. So this is basically for use against Vegeks, a negate that draws a card. It stops one of their attacks. It's very useful against, especially like their critical attackers and things like that, and then it immediately replaces itself. Pretty simple. Basil Fatal Rampage. I think this card is a little more right now. It keeps going up and down. It was about $10 at one point. I'm not sure if it still is. But it is very useful in general against Unisons, and in particular against Vegeks, because of the fact that when you play it, you draw a card, and then once per turn, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode, this card gets plus 15k power, so it becomes a 19k dual attacker until your next main phase. So a couple of things about that. One, very good at getting rid of Unisons because it's a dual attacker. Vegeks is going to have a lot of cards on their board and a lot of things they're swinging with, so they tend to get to 5 tapped cards faster than most decks, which means you can activate this ability sooner. And you can use it to clear out a lot of their like 15k attack guys as well. Not only just attacks against the Unison, also you could use it aggressively. It's just kind of a good counter to that deck that doesn't really cost you anything to play. So now we're going to go on to the black decks. This one is for black decks, specifically like mono black decks. Things like Hatch, things like Vegeks Mirrors. Siding into and or maining Goku the Adventure Begins plus 4-star ball can actually be very useful. This is an old trick for Hatchak mirrors, where you just side in 4 Gokus and 3 balls. Or if you're maining it, you can do 4 and 4. Basically what this does is you're not using the effect to play skillless battle cards. You're simply going to play them on turn 1 and get a +1 every turn to get the Dragon Ball to your hand, allowing you to out-advantage your opponent. You could try this if it'd be pretty hefty in terms of how many side deck slots you play, but what this is going to do is it's going to give you an extra 5k combo every single turn that will help you survive in the early game against the onslaught that is Vegeks attacking battle cards all the time. But yeah, for a black mono black deck specifically, since you don't have as many things you can side, since you can't side any colored cards, you can only side black cards, siding into this package will help you a lot. Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan has the ability of when your opponent plays a battle card, 15k power or less, using a non-keyword skill, your opponent chooses 2 cards from that and places them in their drop area. So this is going to be very good against Kais. 1-drop Kais can't come and play super easy. The 3-drop Trunks can't come and play super easy. It does not stop all of their stuff because it's 15k or lower only, obviously, but it will help a lot in terms of slowing them down. You can also, in a pinch, when it attacks, you can grab a life to increase it by 10k, so if you're really going to do Awaken on a turn, it also helps you there. This is probably the easiest card to slot in to your side deck, because it also might help against some other decks on edge cases too, but it's something that pretty much every deck can side for Vegeks. Also, Protector of the People, so if you don't have access to go wide negates like Flying Nimbus, this is a negate you can put in your deck as a side card. It's black, so it can go on any deck, and it's negate the attack. Then you may choose 1 card in your hand and place it in your drop area. If you do choose one of your leader cards, it gains the following effect. When this card is attacked by a battle card, it gets plus 5k power for the turn. So one thing to note is that is stacking. So first attack is bam, negate, and then on their next attack, your leader will go up 10k. If they attack again, now it's up 5k. If you attack again, now it's up 10k. If they attack again, now it's up 15k. So this is a good way to stop your opponent from being able to overwhelm you with a bunch of attacks, and can pretty much go on any deck. I think it spiked recently. It was like $8 for a while, so I might hold off on buying this right away and wait for the price to go back down. Not specifically Time's Choice Supreme Kai, but throwing free Overwhelm cards that replace themselves into your deck. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You can do kind of research on your own. This is just an example. But what I mean when I say free Overwhelm cards is it's Overwhelm 3, but it doesn't require any energy. And when you play it, you look at the top 3 cards, choose a battle card, add them to your hand. Time Patrol Trunks is another one. There's a bunch of different ones. Basically, if you don't need your discard pile for your deck, throw 4-ish of these in your deck, 3 to 4 depending on your numbers. And it will help your early game a lot because it gives you a bunch of free attacks you can just throw in for basically no cost. It doesn't cost you any cards, and you can use them to either burn down their Unison card or to swing in and kind of kill their attackers early. Next we have Supreme Kai of Time, Time Regulator. This is a 1-cost black blocker that when you play it, you draw a card. So pretty simple. So you can throw these down in the first couple turns and draw cards, and your opponent has to, you can use them to stop critical attacks, double strike attacks, or use them in spots to just kind of stop your opponent from hitting you. It's very useful against Vegeks in particular because they don't have a lot of ways to remove battle cards, so they can't just like freely get rid of it and clear the way for their attackers. They usually have to burn an actual attack on it, which can be very helpful. So just plopping a couple of these down when you have free energy early in the game can really help you survive late or slow them down depending on what you need your deck to do. So yeah, those are kind of the cards I came up with that you can put in your main/side deck in order to kind of slow down/stop Vegeks. Obviously, none of them are complete silver bullets, otherwise Vegeks wouldn't be a good deck. But they can help you and make your kind of win percentage against Vegeks go up a little bit. Now, these are the cards I came up with. I'm interested if anyone has anything else, anything that I missed, kind of help the community out on ways to stop the deck. But please like, subscribe, go out there, play some Super, and have some fun.